Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, people around the world. I'm Sergeant Vintage, and this video is about me telling you guys how I found my style. So it's going to be about how I ended up in this vintage scene, how I pick out my clothes, how I find inspiration for those clothes through different means. And it's just going to be a little video session on just me spilling out information, and hopefully you guys can take it on board, take what you can out of the video and apply that to your own scenario. Now, just a little quick backstory. I wasn't always into vintage, I wasn't always into fashion. My mother, she used to sew, she used to make her own clothes, she used to dress us up very well as kids. But growing up into my 14, 15, 16, when you dress yourself, when you have a little bit more choice when you're shopping with your parents and whatnot, I was always a well-dressed kid, but I was just casually dressed. I didn't wear none of the big brands. I barely wore a big Nike Adidas borrowing outside trainers maybe. It was your usual Primark or maybe hand-me-downs from cousins or family around the way. And I just dressed casually and dressed smart. And then as I turned 18, I fell ill and I had to find a way to make money at that time, and with making it easy for me at the time to do so with the conditions that I had obviously at the time of illness. And I fell into this vintage industry. And since then my style has developed, and obviously to my liking and to my flavors. And every step forward I'm finding pieces and testing and experimenting with things that I might just work well on me given the scenario. Autumn, winter, spring, summer, as they do in the seasons, an event, gathering, a barbecue, whatever it may be. So I'm going to show you a screen recording on my phone of where I draw my inspiration from. So this first bit is going to be on Depop. Now I use this platform to sell my clothes, I use this platform to find clothes, I use this platform to find inspiration, see what other people are doing, see what items are there and available and are being kind of hooked onto by the world. So when someone releases a fashion line or an item, whatnot, I look to Depop to see, is it popping, is it not? And I just look to reflect my taste with what's going on in the current world and the current space on that social website. Yeah, so this screen recording, so this is going to show on my Depop. This is on my Android. Usually I use Depop on my work phone, which is the one that's filming. But this Android, it's selling, likes and saved. On the iPhone, I believe is reviewed is the final section. And as you can see, all the items here that I'm selling and whatnot, blah, 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 blah. And I have my save section. So here in my save section, I have pieces which I would like to have or where suits my aesthetic and my personal build. So as you can see here, you got these funny socks. These are all complement to my style or pieces that I can see myself wearing. And I use the save section again it's almost like a mood board. I almost use it to see what I'm feeling maybe at the time. And I always go back. So as you can see, the further I'm scrolling down, I'll jump to the very early beginnings. And you can see that I look through this and I see certain colors that I'd be picking. So as you can see, a lot of grays here. I see certain brands that I'd be picking, certain trainers that I'd be looking at. And I compare that to now. I compare that to obviously the times and whatnot. And I try to style myself based on these looks, style myself based on these fits. As you can see, this Fred Perry sweatshirt, it's a nice fit and it's a nice cut, and I like those colors and to experiment with the color pink, for example. Thankfully on this model, it looks like he's roughly of a decent height and it can fit me, and so I look towards those things. This is essentially my mood board without having to physically write anything. As you can see, I can screenshot this and it can tell you a whole lot about me without me necessarily saying anything. Obviously, this is seasonal and stuff, that's why I'll be liking the save and stuff. So you can see quite a few fleeces here. You can see my football tops that I do like. I'm a football fan. Again, as I scroll up, we see a lot of fleeces. We see a lot of just different pieces and stuff that I will obviously go through the time and the place. And there's always pieces that I would like to have in my wardrobe, like this Dolphins jersey. This model's modeled it well. That's a look that I could pull off, and I'm thinking, rah, that could work with me. And having Depop as that platform and having that save section, it allows me to always look back and to look for things that I can possibly have in my wardrobe and that will work with me and what I already know for my aesthetic to be. So here we see a lot of jumpers, we see a lot of sweatshirts, we see you guys can take a pic for yourself and see what you take from this save section of mine. You see a lot of greys and white colors, I'm seeing a lot of yellows and reds, to be honest with you. And again, that's just how I work with my color palette. And also do this for other people as well. I save some trainers and see what they would look like. I save these bottoms and I just think, would they work with me and whatnot. I like these a lot. And again, with just new finds and peculiar finds like these Vapor Maxes, I've never really seen them, so I save them and think, and I experiment, and I think, would I be able to experiment with a couple pieces? I see this fleece, this kind of graphic fleece, and I think it's kind of cool, and I just again think about what I can wear around that and know my style and get into where I have got to. I can just look at certain things and see, yes, I would rock that, and that would be really cool. And other pieces I would look and say, no, not really. For example, with this one, I don't know why I saved it, but yeah, it looks alright, but I don't particularly see myself wearing it. So I know, for example, that I like fairly fitted cuts. I'm not too big on the loose fitting clothes, so oversized isn't particularly my thing more often than not. But here were certain things that you can see, like this Gosha Chinsky sweatshirt. It's a solid fit, it's a little bit oversized, it looks well, it's a sweet piece, and I know I'd like it, obviously permitting I had an unlimited budget, but I'd get a lot of these pieces. And again, I compare with pieces that I have. Sometimes I compare prices in my saved and see that if I'm on the right track. And again, I just use this as my own mood board type thing, so I can always go back and see pieces that I would like. As you can see, these new school, fairly new school tracksuit bottoms by Nike, I'd save those and I'd look for another pair in another color. Our next site that I use would be a platform that I'm sure we all use, or we should be using to get information, is Instagram. Now, I use Instagram to find a lot of things. Again, you can see my certain searches of mine and see my inspiration here. I find a lot of things you can search by hashtag, as we all know, by maybe Tommy Hilfiger or even 90s, maybe. And you just find a lot of hashtag posts relating to the 90s. And obviously you'd have to search through and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll to find something relevant. Because it's quite a saturated hashtag, you might have to use a more in-depth or a more unique hashtag. But there's even pages that I follow, for example, the 90s tip, right? This page that I use it for inspiration for certain looks. I'm quite one for photography as well, so I use this for kind of how the images are framed, what they're wearing in the picture as well, sizes, fits and whatnot, certain looks that I haven't done myself. For example, I'm not a jewelry guy, but I see this Andre 3000 jewelry on them and I think that might work in a certain t-shirt. Or even growing out my hair and doing plaits like Big Boy has done in these pictures. And again, I just take these and I take these as inspiration for when I'm doing these lookbooks, or when I'm doing these, when I'm trying to figure out what I want to wear for a certain event, or what I want in my wardrobe when I do go shopping, when I do my thrifting online or in person. And again, this is another page, Strapped Archives. These guys do amazing work. I love this page. They do, as you see with my likes, I like the framing of these pictures that they do, the individuals that are quite interesting, all of their works, whether it be modern or new. I'll take inspiration, for example, that Bad Boy looks like a San Antonio Spurs collaboration on the top, and P Diddy just wearing, just looking stylish. That's I draw inspiration from that. I draw inspiration from these pages, from these individuals that are stylistically showing off to a certain extent. And again, Instagram is just almost an infinite source of information, pictures, videos you can find of times in the whatever time or fashion time that you're looking for. If you look for rock tees, for example, you can look on the AC/DC and you can find a lot of thrifters or charity shoppers that be finding these pieces, and you could draw inspiration from them, and you could just find a hell of a lot. And that's what I use on my page. As you can see on my Instagram page, I do, every 2 pictures I post a picture of something else. For example, this Biggie Smalls, or I post another one of this Mick Jagger, and just to break it up and show potentially give inspiration to other people in whatever they're finding, and show certain times the history of the brand. We didn't know Sylvester Stallone and Adidas had a thing, and I'd just be doing a lot. For example, this picture of Usher and Jay-Z, I take inspiration from this picture. It's quite cool, stylistically done well. Usher's picture, I love it so much. His jumper is really cool, And so I take inspiration, I'll just draw this and take in the information. Again, given the platform and given my own research on the scene. And again, just like Depop and Instagram, you do have a save section. So you can save your images to literally a specific section. As you can see mine here, I save mine and I save whatever I find on Instagram. It could be a page, it can be one of my friends sending me something. I just save it all. And again, I've got my folders. So I've got beauties there. And these are just pieces that I find really cool. These Ghost Rider bottoms, absolute beauty. Again, these are scrolling through pieces that I just really like and inspiration. I didn't find this PlayStation 2 t-shirt, for example. I had no idea that it was wrapped up like that, and it's really cool. So I'd then be on a hunt for a PlayStation 2 t-shirt. Vintage Kuji. Again, drawing information. Even drawing information, drawing inspiration. You can see a lot of sweatshirts, a lot of jumpers, some reworked hats, fleeces, the whole shebang. These look really cool. And again, this is just me drawing inspiration and finding different things, different pages through just Instagram. And it's such a brilliant platform to find and to source and to different people and what different people sell and stuff like that. Reworks. Again, I didn't know Carhartt did this type of jacket, but it's really cool. So I might be on the look for that in the winter seasons. So I save that in my save section. These guys rework, and these guys make a almost set of clothing that you can obviously buy it separately, but these guys have their setup where it's really cool. You can almost buy the whole set if you'd like to, and you can just take inspiration from there. The color combinations that they use, the brands that they use, the separate pieces, whether one might be tapered, you can find a bigger sized item, for example, on their page. And again, it's just drawing inspiration from the sources that you find. These are just beautiful pieces as for me, and for you it might be something different. Someone might have an entire flower section, or for the ladies it might be something different, permitting dresses or a sort of bikini tops and stuff like that. All the information that you can find, again, through Depop. And when you do start liking and you do start interacting, obviously Depop will tailor that on your page. So here you can see my explore section is mainly fashion. A lot of clothes, a lot of vintage wear, football boots, as you can see, vintage tees, the whole shebang, footwear and everything. So that's how it's catered to me. Even that, there's a really cool picture of Mr. Bean. So yeah, just get searching. It will cater to you. Google will cater to you. Instagram will cater to you, because they see you're interacting with that and they see you're trying to look for something. Sorry, and I do have a few video ideas that I have coming up, including all these pieces that I have around me and stuff like that. So keep yourself updated. Put the notification bell on to keep yourself in the loop of what's going on. Follow us on Instagram at Sergeant Vintage, and I will see you on the next video. Sergeant Vintage, and I'm out.